Hey everybody, it's Josie. Welcome back to Cedar Creek Homestead. Well, we have been under the weather again, and it started last week with little Howie pulling at his ears. We took him to the doctor, or Cheyenne did, and he had a double ear infection, and then they thought something else was going on with him. So living in a rural area, the doctor's office doesn't do the test. They sent him on to the hospital just to have tests ran, and the results came back that he does have the flu and also RSV, which was what we were hoping it would not be. And not only worried for him, but for baby Rowdy as too. And so we tried to figure out how in the world we were going to keep them apart. We know that, we share this environment, and baby Rowdy actually has gotten RSV now, and he is sick. But we've been able to maintain here at the house, keep everybody here, not having to go to the hospital. The doctor gave us a lot of instructions of what to do. She put Howie on antibiotics for his ear infection, but of course for RSV and flu, there's no there's no antibiotics or anything like that. There's just a course of things that you need to do to make sure that you stay hydrated and comfortable and getting rid of all of this snotty and yucky stuff. And so I thought I'd share with you today some things that the doctor told us in case you find yourself or your babies, your grandbabies, your neighbor kids in the same shape, and something to prepare for, to make sure that your first aid kits and your medical supplies are include these things. One of the very first things that she told us to do was make sure that they stayed hydrated, and she told us to get Pedialyte. Now, I'm not supported by any of these brands. I'm just telling you what she used. We have used the off-brand. We've gotten it at Dollar General. We've gotten it at Walmart. We've gotten it at other places, and it is effective. This just happened to be what Cheyenne picked up for Howie to use. Of course, Rowdy's not using this, but this has a best buy date of September of 2024. So this is something that you can get and put on your shelf, and it's not going to expire quickly. It's something that if your family doesn't use it, you can pass it on to someone else. Perhaps they can use it. This adults can also use. It's not. It's more effective than Gatorade when you're sick. It doesn't have all of the sugar and the things that you don't need in case vomiting and diarrhea is present. Sugar aggravates it. If you're diabetic like I am, you don't need any extra sugar. So the product that you can get that has the least amount of sugar will be the most important. Water is very important. That they drink lots of water, but they also need to have their electrolytes replaced. So keep some of this on your shelf and bring it out. Now, once it's opened, this does have to go into the refrigerator, and the shelf life of it is pretty quick once it's opened. So just know that it's not going to last a long, long time after it's opened. But just on the shelf, it's got a pretty good life. And the next thing that she told us to do was to put Vicks on the bottom of their feet, their backs, and their chests. Now, we've already had some tell us that that wasn't a good idea. But I'm using regular Vicks. You can tell that I have caught the flu from the kids, and I used regular Vicks, but the children are using Baby Rub. Vicks, it's a Vicks product, Vicks Baby Rub. I know that there are mentholatum brands, and there are other brands too that you can get. Just look in the cold and flu aisle and in the baby aisle, and they may have alternatives that you feel more comfortable with. But we put this on the bottom of their feet and put socks on their feet, their chest, and their backs. And once it's applied, Howie's a little bit harder to hold on to and to pat his back. You can, but not as long as you can with Rowdy. With Rowdy, we get this on there, get his back patting his back and try to keep all of this stuff broke up from there. So she told us to hydrate, to keep this on, to keep it broken up. And the next thing she told us was to make sure that you keep their nasal passages clear. So this has been our friend. And of course we've got different ones. We've got one we use, this is a new one. We have one that's Rowdy's, one that's Howie's, and we try to use them for, separately on each of them. And it's just a matter of, if you're a mom or a grandma or parent, you've had to use these, you just insert that into the nostril and release this, and it sucks that yucky stuff out, and you can get rid of it. And she said that's very important. But when they're losing this mucus and stuff from the nose or from coughing it up, from vomiting, diarrhea, all of that is fluid loss, and that's one of the other reasons why she wants, or she, I say she because this Rowdy's doctor is a lady. They want plenty of fluids in the way of the electrolyte drinks, warm liquids, water, teas, anything that you can get. Tea is really good for me. It really, warms you and gets you feeling, getting that stuff broke up in there. And so the next thing that I would tell you that we have is a pulse ox. Now, I've had this since Howie had open heart surgery because we had to keep track with his numbers and things. And for an adult, it's relatively easy. You just put it on your finger and push the button, and it checks your your oxygen level, and it takes your pulse. Mine is 96 right now, and but you can use this on kids. And what she told us to do with Howie is put it on their thumb or their big toe. Now I'll tell you, when you put it on Howie's big toe, he's moving his foot like this, trying to fling it off, and so you sometimes have to have 4 hands to hold the baby, hold the foot, and hold this on the foot. But you want to keep track of their oxygen, and if it drops to a certain level, then you need to maybe prepare to make a trip to the hospital, because the oxygen level is very important. With Rowdy, we don't even try to use this. He's so little. But Cheyenne has a little owlet sock that goes on his foot, and it measures constantly and delivers to her phone his heart rate and his oxygen and some other things, and so she can keep track of it there. This is probably just a given, a thermometer to keep track of fever. Now, we know that sometimes the body presents a fever to try to get rid of sickness. In this case, the fever is something that we want to control. And so between medication to, every 4 hours, we rotate between medications is what the doctor told us to do. And we also keep cool washcloths on the head to try to help with that. And then we have a washcloth is something that I keep on hand. You can have any color of washcloth that you want. For my first aid kit, I usually keep white, and then I can just, if it gets anything, medicine spilt on it, or blood, or yucky mucusy stuff, I can just throw it in the wash and bleach it and be done with it. The next thing that I will tell you that we have went through a lot is Kleenexes, facial tissues. Hankies is a good thing to have. How I always had a hanky. I carry a handkerchief in my purse to church with me. But for this kind of thing, with all of us yucky, we're all of us, everyone but Cheyenne has gotten sick, and I'm thankful that she hasn't. I don't know. She had to have her tonsils and her adenoids taken out when she was a kid, and she doesn't know if maybe that has something to do with it. But anyway, regardless, thank goodness she hasn't gotten sick. But the rest of us have, and we've had a lot of sneezing and coughing and hacking stuff up. And so it's best just to have tissue that can just be thrown away, and not try to keep up with everybody's handkerchief and whose is whose, and keeping up with the wash, and and all of that, because we've got towels, and we've got blankets, and we've got all kinds of things, bedding that we've been going through. And that brings me to my next thing is plenty of blankets. These are a comfort, and when you're sick, you know how your fever goes high and your fever breaks and you're sweaty, and the blankets can just be tossed into the wash, and another blanket can be taken out. But if you've just got one blanket, then it's a little bit harder to do. So we're trying to, we're cycling through the blankies, trying to keep Howie with one and Ratty with another and me with another, and we're just moving on through it. So that would be another thing that I know that you're going to put it in your linen closet, but I would consider it a first aid supply too, is plenty of blankets. They don't have to be like this one is that, I don't know what it's made out of, but that's that real soft, comforting. Okay, and the last item that I have today is actually two things in one. She told us that she wanted us to keep a cool mist going, and so the kids have a humidifier in their bedroom and a cool mist humidifier, and we have this this vapor steam in it, and it smells really good. I just can't smell it right now, and so it's a comfort to me from my childhood. My mom was a big Vicks user, and that's a comforting memory to me. And so, but I'm just unable to smell it at the moment because my nose is doing its own thing. But we have that mist going in their room when they're in there. Plus, we also have one of those big cabinet type humidifiers that we run in the wintertime because it gets dry in here and our skin's dry, and I have problems with nosebleeds when my nostrils get dried out. So Howie invested in a humidifier. I don't think they were really all that much money, maybe less than $200, maybe more now. But anyway, we can keep it running. And it's not running right now because it's a little bit loud for the video. And then we have got this with it too. And it just keeps everything moist and cool like what the doctor suggested. And that's it. Just a few things that you might consider adding to your preps if you don't have these things already in your first aid kits or your medical supplies. You may be considering adding these things to it. So I hope this helps prepare you for little illnesses that come along. Until next time, guys, this is Josie. I love you guys. I really do. Keep looking well to the ways of your household, preparing those first aid kits and those medical supplies. Till next time, we're gone.